What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, I am in my car. I got it back. So when it was in the shop, along with the radiator problem, they said my oil filter housing gasket was leaking, and I was kind of inclined to not believe them because the dealership told me it before and they were just trying to sell me something that wasn't really a problem. So, I told them, hey, look, I have an oil filter housing gasket at home and I'll put it on when I get home. When I went to pick it up, I was like, can you please show me where this is leaking, because I have not seen any leaks at all. Excuse me, guys. I'm still getting over a little bit of sickness, but gotta fix the car, gotta have it, close to perfect as can be possible for a car of this age. So, anyway, I went to AutoZone and picked up enough tools so I can do this job. Bought a little ratcheting wrench to get the one that's underneath the manifold. They're all E10s, but you can use a 8mm if it's like a universal joint. So that's what I'm going to use for that. Hopefully that will do the trick. I really don't want to have to loosen the manifold at all, because it's really just a pain to deal with the manifold. After doing that manifold swap, I don't want to touch the manifold if I don't have to. So I picked that up. Picked up little oil filter wrench. It shouldn't be on that tight. I think it says like 5 to 9 Newton meters on the thing, so that should be pretty loose to come off. And a bunch of shop towels so I don't make a mess or get oil all over my belt that I just recently replaced. So yeah, I'll show you where it's leaking from, and then let's get right into this DIY here. Okay, so they said it was leaking from the bottom here, so let's see if I can show you. I don't know what you're going to be able to see on camera. Probably nothing from that. But if you go under it, you can. It's quite a lot of nastiness right there from underneath the oil filter housing. So I believe them. I think it's time to change it. So I'm going to start by removing this air intake. And as I've said before, if you don't know how to do it, get the air intake out. I've done it in a lot of videos, but two 10mm bolts. Well, one for me because I'm missing one. Flathead screwdriver on the back to loosen it. Pop it out. If you want to take this snorkel out, two T20s. 1, 2. And I'll get back to you once I have that out. Alright guys, I hope this is coming across well, because I'm just got the camera strapped to my head. So hopefully it's looking at what I'm looking at. Alright, so to begin with, we're going to have our e-torque. So we're going to get the first one off just using, well, first let's disconnect these pressure sensors. So the long one to the front and the short one on the top here. Let's just put those kind of out of the way. So let's get our E10 to get the first bolt. There we go. Just release some of the pressure off this, and I put towels down there just so that if oil comes out, which it probably will, that belt is not going to get drenched. So this isn't the BMW tool where it like actually grabs it from the top, obviously, but it works. So this will release the pressure from inside there. And we'll have to set this somewhere where it's safe from getting contaminated. Let's put this like that, too. So that's the oil filter. Alright, so with that loosened, it's time to take out these 3 e-torques. So we got one that faces rearwards on the bottom, one on the top, and one here, and they're all 3 different sizes. And the shop, EuroEnvy, when they told me I do this to make sure I keep them straight. They're all 3 different lengths, and they have to go in the right spot or it will destroy the housing. So that will have to be done properly. So I don't think this oil is going to exactly drain out of here. Okay, I don't know how tight these are, but seem pretty tight. There we go. I hope that one on the inside isn't that tight, or this is going to be a nightmare. because all I have is a ratcheting wrench to get in there. Yeah, I'm going to have to use the ratcheting wrench on that one too, because the sockets I got are really long and won't clear. So 8 millimeters. Man, this is tough. So I couldn't get that bolt without removing the manifold, given the tools that I have available at my disposal. So I removed the manifold, and now I'm just going to use my E-Torx bit, because it kept coming off, and I was scared I was going to strip the head of that bolt with the ratcheting wrench. Even though it worked fine down there, I had a better grip on it, so it was a lot easier for the bottom one. So my plan now is just to stick an extension in there and take that thing off. I'll just have to remount the manifold, and that's a pain. This manifold is just, it's difficult to put on. And you know, after a while your back starts to hurt from being hunched over this thing. Okay, so one thing I forgot to do, or mention anyway, is to use shop towels and dry up all the oil that doesn't drain, because you're not going to want that to spill anywhere. I had a little bit spill. It's on the belt, so I'm going to have to make sure I clean that shit up really good before we get to moving the car. That's a big no-no, so make sure you do that. Clean up everything really good on here, and as you can see the point where my gasket is failing, right? I don't know if you can, but at the very bottom it's bulging a lot. It's gotten swollen. It's really not in that bad of shape, but it's just in a very bad spot, so you know, it's definitely time to do this. So without further ado, I'm going to use a really small flathead, or use a pick tool, whichever you prefer, and get this old gasket out. Okay, so now I put my new gasket on, and I pushed it in, make sure it's in all places. Just kind of work your fingers around it, pushing it down, and this one looks to be in, you know, way better shape than the old one. I mean, the old one, I don't know where, I threw it on the ground somewhere. I'll have to pick it up later, but it just didn't look good at all. I'll find it, take a picture, and insert that right about here. But yeah, so now it's time to refasten this. Make sure you use the bolts in the correct spot. Alright, as you can see, it is back on now. Make sure you look down there, make sure there's no oil or anything on your belt. Wipe it down if there is. Same for the hose. I got a little bit right there I need to wipe down. I missed it. Anyway, so that's it. I'm going to start the car up because the N52 motor is capable of running without the manifold on, so I'm just going to make sure there's no oil leaks real quick, then bolt the manifold back up, and I might finish putting this stuff back together tomorrow because I'm losing light now, as you can tell. So I'm really just going to make sure this is all good to go. Alright, well, it's definitely time to put that manifold back on.
Hey guys, so it is about now 3 days after doing the oil filter housing gasket, and no leaks to report of. I really haven't driven the car that much. I've actually been driving the Civic a lot more just to save on fuel and whatnot, but I've driven it a little bit, and maybe 100 miles or so, and no leaks to report of. Everything's good, so that is how you do it. It's a really simple job. If you have the right tools, you won't need to remove the manifold, but like I didn't really have the proper tools for that. Kitty, stop it. Didn't really have the proper tools for that, so like I did, I removed the manifold, and it's really not that big a deal to do. It's just going to take you an extra like 30 minutes or so, and there's no reason that you should pay $400 something to the dealer. If I can, I will find the what the dealer quoted me to replace the oil filter housing gasket when they did. I believe it was like $430 something, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But it's a $10 part. I mean, if you buy the OEM gasket, it's like 20 bucks. I bought mine on FCP Euro, and I think I paid like 15. I don't know. It's been a long time. I've had the gasket for a while. I don't want to say, but I would say it was less than $20. Anyway, Christmas is coming up. You can kind of see my thing here. So shout out to my girlfriend. She did all this. It's not a whole lot, but you know, pretty nice. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping in and watching the video. If you made it this far, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the like button, and make sure you turn on notifications so you know every time I upload a video, and I will see you in the next one.